Siedah Garrett, what an honor and a pleasure
Pleasure is all
for you to
mine.
take out your time to stop by and say hello. This is our first time meeting,
Thank you. Yes.
and hopefully it will not be our last. But
Not if I can help it.
not, hey, look,
Trust and believe.
look. The bottom line is, it was so funny because before you came in, we had a young man that came in to the studio tonight and said, I'm a big fan of yours, and my sister and I grew up with you back on the block. Now,
Yeah.
back on the block, for those of you who didn't understand, is a Quincy Jones production.
Yes. Yes.
Or you know him as Q, or you know him as what?
Le Q.
Le Q, Le Q.
No, I'm just kidding.
And that has to be a great honor for you, for a young man like that to remember, because it's one
Yeah.
thing as a kid to hear music, it's another thing to retain.
It's true. It's
And
true.
for him to have heard that you were coming in tonight, just by your first name, we didn't have to tell him your last name, spoke volumes to me. I don't know how that spoke to you.
I was really touched, and I was impressed that the kid had such good taste at such a young age.
Yes, he did.
It's also that album, Back on the Block, was Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald's last recording. And it was a song that I wrote, Back on the Block. And I'm really, really proud of that. We're celebrating what would have been Ella's 100th birthday. And
Yes.
I had some good times with her, watching her do her thing on that song.
And then-
It was a lesson in the making.
It had to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sarah Vaughan and Ella.
Yeah.
How special are you to be in that
Very,
circle
very.
of women
Yeah, it was
that have
cool.
walked before you?
It was cool. And it was definitely a musical education. I mean, I was with royalty, seriously.
I mean, not to mention Quincy alone
Yeah.
speaks for
That was,
itself.
that was a great album. A lot of those people, a lot of the artists on that record have passed. A huge number. I mean, Al Jarreau, of course, Sarah Vaughan and Ella and Barry White and Al. A lot of them.
No,
I can't even think of it. But
Unfortunately,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah, you're right. And Miles Davis and who's the tuba cheek
Dizzy.
guy?
Dizzy.
Dizzy Gillespie. Yes, it was awesome. But yeah, those were really very heady times, and I felt like I was in the presence of greatness of the whole time recording that whole album. It was awesome. You never knew who was going to pop in, the next day, who was going to show up. I have a great Miles Davis story.
Please.
Miles Davis came in to play trumpet on a song that I'd written on Back on the Block. And every day before that, Quincy would invite me to come to the studio the next day.
Okay.
So the day Miles showed up, Quincy didn't invite me to come the next day, so I didn't go, but I went the day after. And Quincy was like, "Where were you yesterday? Miles was here playing on the song he wrote." And he said, at one point, Miles was in the studio and he was playing his horn and he stopped. And he said, "You, who that's singing?" And Quincy said, "Man, that's Siedah." And Quincy said, Miles said, "That's Siedah. Damn, I love that bitch." So when Miles
no
Davis
way.
calls you a bitch, you roll with it because it's Miles. You know what I'm saying? So it was just stuff like that. It's a great story.
Oh my gosh. Are you
Great
kidding
story.
me?
Yeah, it was seriously.
Look,
Seriously.
you're filled with stories.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
next thing should not be an album. The next thing should be the book.
Really?
We are waiting for the book because I'm going to have you before you leave out of here tonight because I'm going to hold you hostage for another additional hour. You're going to have to share with us the Michael Jackson stories.
Absolutely.
All right, so because I heard that I know you have a few. You
A
probably have a
couple.
few on
I
everything.
got a couple.
Good ones.
Yes.
Good
yes.
ones. Okay, I can't wait. Her name is Siedah Garrett. So let's do this. Let's go to that album for a moment and hit you up with a song from Back on the Block. What favorite slow song off of that particular project stands out for you?
Secret Garden. Hello. Hello.
I had a feeling that you would. And tell me why. I mean, aside
Oh
from
my
it being
God!
filled
Come
with
on,
so many people.
Barry White,
Elder Barge.
Elder Barge, Al Jarreau, James Ingram. It was awesome. I remember when Barry White came in to do his part on the song. Quincy and Barry were standing in a little middle room between the mixing board and the vocal booth.
Studio,
Just like a little alcove, and they were talking. And I had to go from one room to the next, and I walked up to say hello to Barry. And while he and Quincy were talking, I swear to you, I was standing next to Barry, and while he was talking to Quincy, I could feel his voice vibrating
In
in
your
my
body.
rib
Yep.
cage.
That's no
So
lie.
I said, excuse me, Mr. White, but I'm gonna have to move because you are inside me right now. It was insane.
Hey, look, I stood next to Barry, and I know exactly
Yeah.
what you mean.
My rib cage
Yeah,
was
just-
vibrating from the depth and the richness of that tone in his voice. Oh my God.
You know, when you look back at your life from then till right now, I would think you would probably say you have been blessed.
Oh, most definitely. Thrice. I've been like multi-blessed. I've had the pure great fortune to be in the right place at the right time at a lot of key moments in my life.
That's the key to life, isn't it?
Timing is thing every.
Now, I've read
You
thing every.
never
Thing
mind.
every. I got you. I got. See,
Never
see,
mind.
look. It's nighttime. This is my moment. This is nighttime. This is my zone, Sadie. This is my zone.
Okay.
Thing every, right? So, look. Now I forgot my thoughts. See,
I'm
Sadie,
sorry.
that's
I'm
not
sorry.
right. No, but
Did you get your notes?
yeah, no, but
Read
they're
your
not
notes.
questions. They're
Oh, okay.
But let's talk about your work for a minute. Your work, you know, you started at 15, right? 15 years old.
My first recording session, yes.
And that's what kind of got you going?
Child, let me tell you, it was with DJ Rogers.
Wow.
And it
So
was
You
the
Love Me.
album, yeah, it was the album after, the follow-up album after Say You Love Me. And my mother was hanging wallpaper in his house at the time. And she would just tell him, you know, my daughter's a great singer. My daughter can really sing. He's like, yeah, your daughter, my plumber's son, the gardener's nephew, you know, but my mother was very persistent. And he said, all right, bring your daughter over. But I'm going to tell you, if she can't sing, I don't want to hear nothing else about her singing. I'm telling you
tough.
now, I don't want
That's
to hear
tough.
nothing. So I came
tough.
to his house. He sat me down on the piano next to him. And DJ was massive at the time. So we're sitting on this piano bench. And he played a little riff and he said, sing this. And I sang it. And he looked at me like, okay. Then he said, he played another riff. He said, sing this. And I sang it. He literally pushed me off the edge of the piano bench. And he said, you're hired.
Wow.
I got it.
That's it.
I got my first real background vocal gig with two of his singers. I guess one didn't show up, and I filled in. And it was so amazing, the sounds that we created, the blend of the vocals and the sound of the harmonies and how tight they were. I loved it. I had the time of my life. Then I went home, and 3 weeks later, I got a check. I was like, oh, hell yeah.
I could get paid for something
I'm
I love.
definitely doing this. Yeah, that's what I got the bug from doing that. That was it. That was it for me.
Wow.
I said, I can make money having so much fun. Oh, I'm so in.
Now, when did the writing? Because you know we should mention she and you know I got to have her tell the list that she has done, but one that comes to the top of my head.
Ain't no top.
The top.
Your head. Okay.
My head
okay,
right now.
Go
Right
ahead,
now
Go ahead.
is Man in the Mirror.
Yes.
And you wrote it down in something prior to you even writing a song at that time.
Yes.
I read that you wrote it down in some kind of book. That just the title alone.
I have a lyric book. Yes.
Right.
And
but it wasn't a lot of stuff finished doing that, right?
no, it was just the word.
Just
Man
the
in the
word.
Mirror. Just the words.
But where did that inspiration? Where did you
Okay.
get that phrase from?
Okay. I was asked by Mr. Jones and like I think there were like 6 of his West Coast songwriters to try and come up with a song to finish the Bad album. And Quincy didn't really know what kind of song he wanted. He just said, I don't know, just play me something or write something. I'll, show me what you got kind of thing. So I took some notes and I went to Glenn's house, Glenn Ballard, and he said, I told him, Quincy wants a song for Michael to finish the album. What kind of song? I don't know. He said, well, let's just see what we come up with. Okay. He stands up to go over to the keyboard in the corner. And at this point, we're going to cut to 2 years before that moment.
Wow.
I was having a writing session with my dear friend, jazz pianist John Beasley. And I thought we were having a great session, writing really pretty well together. And I thought we were having fun. The phone rings. He picks up the phone and begins this very banal conversation about, no, I'm not doing nothing. I'm flipping through my lyric book. in my head, I'm seething and I'm going, no, he did not say he's not doing nothing. I'm sitting here working
Wow.
and, I'm
Wow.
just, so I'm flipping through and I hear, while I'm doing this, I hear him say, the man, what man? Oh, the man in the mirror. I write down man in the mirror.
Wow.
2 years later, I'm at Glenn's house. He jumps up to turn on the keyboard just to get some kind of sounds. He starts playing. Dum, 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 dum. And as he's doing that, I'm flipping through the book. The phrase man in the mirror literally leapt off the page, and I couldn't write fast enough. I was just I was just telling him, please wait. Just it all came out like between 10 and 12 minutes. First verse, first chorus of Man in the Mirror. It was like Wednesday night. He said, you go home, finish the lyric. I'll go home, finish the track, and we'll demo it on Friday. And we did, and we took it to Quincy, and long story short, he loved it, played it for Michael. He loved it, wanted to meet me. I met Michael Jackson because of this song.
The man who you called your husband.
My husband, he was
As
my
every woman in the world. I heard, like every woman that I've met, including some of the women I work with, called Michael Jackson.
Baby, my other cousins had their husbands, but Michael was my husband, all right? So it was really kind of full circle. And I don't even know what made me have the audacity to think I could ever write anything that he would want to record, because every songwriter in America was submitting songs to Quincy for Michael.
But not only did he want to record it, but he wanted to record it like you.
Yeah, man, that's
an
insane.
honor. That's an honor.
That's insane.
And that shows the talent in both of you. You to have creatively just that quickly, and him for wanting to make it as perfect as you
and
demoed
make it his.
And make it his.
He truly made it his.
I want you to speak on that for a moment, because there's someone listening to us tonight.
Yes.
That is
listen to me, girl. Listen to me.
Trying to pursue.
Whoever you are.
Trying to get in that circle.
Yes.
Wondering why that moment hasn't happened yet. What can you speak into their spirit tonight?
The fact that you're still waiting for that moment to happen means it's probably still going to happen. But it's up to you to have the patience, the persistence, the strength of spirit, and belief in yourself to know that if it's going to happen, baby, it will happen. It's going to happen. And if you believe it to be happening, that's the first step, faith. The faith of a mustard seed.
That's all you need.
That's all. So say the Bible.
You know, in the new song that you have, kind of speaks on that.
Yes. Song called Ghetto.
Which means?
G to the H to the E to the T to the T-O. And it means greatness happens even though there's oppression.
Say that one more time for me, Poochie.
Greatness happens even though there's oppression. Ghetto.
What inspired this?
Well, I grew up in Compton. The happiest times of my childhood were with my grandparents in Compton, California.
So you really straight out of Compton?
Straight out, baby.
Okay,
I'm proud of it.
I got
Even
you.
before the movie, I was straight out
right.
of Compton.
Yep.
And happy to be so, because I had so many great childhood memories. And one might look at my childhood and think, wow, she came from a broken home. She grew up with her grandparents. She lived in Compton. She went, I went to so many different schools because my mother had an aversion to paying rent, you see. And so we moved every 9 months or so. So I was always in a new school. But the beauty about that is there was always change. I was always in flux. So right now, I flow easily with change. I know a lot of people that have big trouble with change. They don't want nothing I want it to be the same. It's never the same. So that was one gift that my mother gave me that could have been a curse, because even though I flow easily with change, I don't bond too easily.
I hear you.
Because
Most
in
of us don't.
my childhood, it wasn't going to last. I'm going to be gone in 9 months anyway, so no use to me getting to know you that well.
Wow.
I don't want to come to your house, so
Wow.
let's just do school
Dude.
and call it a day, girl, because, so I never really bonded with people. But there are good and bad to every situation. I don't know what question you asked to lead me there, but
No, well,
okay.
I mean, no, we were talking about your song, Ghetto.
Ghetto, yes. So the song, the essence of the song is, no matter where you're from, no matter what circumstances you came out of, good or bad, that does not determine where you end up in life.
You better preach. And you selected Common.
Yes,
Who
Common
you
was my
couldn't
first
expect-
choice.
You couldn't put a better person
Dude,
in
all
it.
he could say was no. So I decided to ask anyway. Common is a dear friend now. We've met because we're both on the academy, the music branch of the academy. And so we see each other quite frequently at the academy meetings. But he is a dude that speaks to my soul because I feel like his sensibility and his sense of style as far as his music is concerned and the subject matter, we kind of mesh. It kind of goes together.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think it's because of that he decided he wanted to spit 12 bars on this track of mine.
And you just listened to the track and did it.
Yes. As far as I know, yes.
Let's talk about recreation. I mean, just as much as we get the blessings of getting an opportunity in our life,
Yes.
we also have to take moments out in our life to enjoy the flowers, to enjoy the moments.
Yes. It's about balance.
It is about balance. And I understand recently you and your husband found this beautiful home.
Yes.
And it's about balance. I understand there's a pool. I didn't Google you.
killing me.
I didn't Google you, but there's a pool right close to the kitchen. So I want to know when both of you looked at that property, right? What brought a sense of tranquility? What brought a sense of peacefulness? What brought a sense of this should be home?
Well, the layout of the house is very spacious and open, and it was a sunny day, as it usually is in Southern California.
Oh, here's
Don't
that's
hate.
the shade. That's
Don't
the
hate.
shade.
Appreciate.
That's the shade. See, I wasn't gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna make it an East Coast, West Coast. We lived through that era,
Don't
right?
let there be no beef up in here.
This is the quiet storm.
Oh, yeah, you're
Let
right.
me remind you. This-
All right, no-
and she's
no
making it
beef.
very
Yes.
loud and quiet. I'm sorry. I know
I'm
you're trying to
so
relax and enjoy the conversation. Continue, please.
Sorry.
Okay.
I forgot where I
Yes.
was.
Yes. Exactly.
All right.
So as you were saying about sunny California and the sun
Yeah, the
and the
pool,
home.
the,
right.
the layout of the new house is very open and spacious and tranquil, and you just feel like you can take a deep breath and exhale when you walk in the front door. It's just a lot of glass and sunlight. I love it. It's gorgeous.
Does that happen creatively when you write? I mean, what kind of mindset can you share with us tonight? Like, do you find yourself going into, is there a certain time? Because I did have the honors and pleasures to sit down with Q once. And he told me the most important creative time of the night when God speaks to him is
3 to
around
5
three-
in the morning.
yes, around 3 and 5 in the morning.
Yep. I agree.
Does that happen for you as well?
Yeah, man, because there's no lawn blowers, there are no children, there are no dogs barking, there are no phones ringing, there's no outside interruptions, there's no exterior. It's only the peaceful quiet of the night and your thoughts just coming to the music you're listening to or the lyric you're trying to write. And it's just nighttime brings the silence that you need to focus and concentrate on what's inside, to go inside, internal, I think. Because there's too much going on. It's too kinetic in the day. It's too much phones and life and people in your life and kids and the dog and, it's too much.
But did writing, obviously your talent that God gifted you, did writing come as quick for you without any professional training?
Oh, I had plenty of professional training because I demoed everybody's songs. I was singing songs that songwriters were submitting to Quincy for Patty Austin's album. And they knew Quincy was considering signing me to this group, so they wanted me to sing him their song because they knew if I was singing it, he would be listening to it.
And I understand you set the bar so high with Quincy that singers had to measure up to that level.
Now, that's what Mr. Jones told me.
That's what Mr. Jones told me, too.
Okay.
So-
It was because, though, I think I didn't really know what time the auditions started for this group that he was trying to put together. And he really wanted another Fifth Dimension or Manhattan Transfer or Take Six, who hadn't even been discovered yet. But he got this group of people that he auditioned, and it ended up being 800 people over the course of 2 weeks. And I found out about it from the boyfriend of an ex-friend of mine.
Wow.
He told me about the session, and he said, "So, Quincy's doing this session. You better go." I said, "When is it?" He said, "Tomorrow." I said, "What time?" He said, "I don't know." So I showed up at 7 a.m. and it was me and two other people.
What time was the audition when you got there?
Noon. By the time noon rolled around, the line was around the block. So I was number 3. So you could put down your name for 2 weeks, the date and time that you wanted to audition. And I felt like, you know what, I'm here now. I thought I was going to audition today, so I'm going to audition today. So Quincy said I kind of set the bar. You had to be as good as me, or you had to be better than me to be considered.
With this new, I'm assuming, with the first song, Ghetto, coming out, there has to be a thing called an album or a CD or an EP to follow. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's normally the process.
But this isn't normal. Don't you understand?
This is
Things
true.
are no longer normal.
And I know you're born into cancer, but so is your husband.
Yeah.
So he brings the normality to balance and things.
Okay.
So normally,
Yes.
that normally happens. What can we expect that project hopefully to come?
Well, this year or this coming year will be the 30th anniversary of the Man in the Mirror, the release of that single. And I plan to do a tour, a Man in the Mirror tour for all Michael's fans. And there'll be a book to accompany that. And I'm just excited about them hearing songs that were inspired by my time with Michael. And I'll be telling stories about what it was like to hang out with him for a year and a half and to see him on stage every night. Man, let me tell you,
That was one of my questions.
dude, don't get me wrong, Michael was great every night, right? But there were some nights when he was, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. He was just just too much, so much that us on stage with him, we're standing back clapping.
Really?
Damn,
Like that.
he was really amazing. He was such a perfectionist, and he only wanted to indulge or do something if he could make it his own and then be the best at it. He will watch what you did, internalize it, flip it, and then do what you did and put his Michael thing on it. And then it's a
Almost
completely,
instantaneously?
yeah, he lived for that. He lived to find artists that he appreciated. And it doesn't have to be a singer or a dancer. You could be an actor or a chemist or whatever it was you were the best at. And Michael found you succeeding in your field, your chosen field of endeavor. He appreciated that. He learned from that. And if it was something that he was interested in, like Fred Astaire, he became good friends with Fred because he wanted to absorb everything that Fred had. And then he took Fred Astaire's thing and Smooth Criminal. That's Fred Astaire with Michael Jackson on top of all that. He was just too much. I could talk about him forever. And even when I'm not thinking about him, I'll pull up alongside a car and his music will be coming out of the radio. I'll go to the supermarket. His music is on in the air. I'll get on the elevator. He's on the music. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere. And I find that I don't even have to think about him. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking about something. It's just insane. Insane.
I remember Smokey shared a story with me once. Smokey and the Miracles had a song out. I can't remember the exact title of the song. But once they recorded the song, Berry Gordy heard Michael re-record the song. So what you are saying is truly a testament to how he was creatively, because Berry Gordy went back to Smokey and said, we want to release
Michael's version. Yeah.
Even though the song is a mature song, but he sings it with so much conviction that it was so believable. And I think it's, I can't stop
he's
loving
been
it.
here before. He's been here before.
spirit-
Yes.
his spirit
As a
moves.
kid, he was already more mature than any of his siblings at,
I think it was
at
Who's
7.
Loving You. I think it was
Yeah,
Who's
that was
Loving
it.
You.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Speaking of Michael Jackson, you had the honors of not only writing that song, Man in the Mirror, but also duetting with Michael,
Yes.
which is very special in itself, I would assume. I
Yes.
Just Can't Stop Loving You. Did you creatively write the
No,
song as
it was
well?
the Michael song.
Okay.
And I didn't even know I was doing the song. I'd never heard the song before. In fact, I was brought back into the studio, and I assumed that we were going to finish recording Men in the Mirror because we'd done it just a couple of days before with the choir and everything. So I thought Quincy was calling me back to finish the vocals on Man in the Mirror. And I came to the studio and this other song was playing. So I just sat behind Quincy and Michael and Bruce Swedeen at the booth and I'm knitting, right? So I'm just sitting there knitting and Quincy sort of calls over his shoulder, "Hey Sid, what do you think about this song?" And I'm like, I like it. Nice. He said, "Can you sing it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can sing it." He said, go on in there. And I get up to go into the vocal booth. Quincy says, "Michael, go on in there." And Michael is following me into, and I'm like, what is happening? In my mind, I'm like, what is happening right now? So I walk into the studio. There's 2 mic stands, 2 mics, 2 lyric sheets. And on the lyric, it said, "I just can't stop loving you." First verse, Michael. Second verse, Siedah. Chorus.
Wow.
And it was in that moment that I realized I am duetting with the king of pop. What?
Yeah.
It was insane.
But before I let you go, I do want to ask you about one of the most prominent songs that was popular when it first came out and is still rocking every kind of party you could possibly think of right now. Not to even talk about the sampling of it, but it's the song that Dennis Edwards recorded with you.
Don't look any further.
Don't look any further.
Dale, oh my Dale. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That is crazy because the songwriters of that song, Dennis Lambert and Franny Goldie, were at my auditions for Quincy Jones. And they were one of the many songwriters, Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil, Philip Ingram, James Ingram's brother, and Dennis and Franny were also at the auditions. And I started singing everybody's demos. So Dennis and Franny had a demo of a song they wanted for Shaka Khan and Dennis Edwards. They wanted it to be this duet, but they could never get the 2 of them in the studio at the same time. So I sang every part for the demo, and then Dennis Edwards came in and put his part on, and then they were waiting for Shaka, and Motown was like, "You know what? Who's on the demo?" And they said, "Some girl named Siedah Garrett." "Fine, leave her on it." So I was very excited. I was very excited to go back in the studio and put on my real vocal for the song that's going to be the duet with me and Dennis Edwards. And Dennis Lambert said, "Oh, no. We like the vocal that's on."
Oh.
So the vocal on the record is my demo vocal.
Oh.
Hello?
Oh.
So next time somebody tells you, "Oh, it's just a demo," slap them because it could be the vocal that they ended up keeping. So it ended up being a number 2 black R&B record, but it's a dance classic, as you said.
Look,
Yeah.
it's number 1. You
In
go
my
to-
book.
In every club, if any place you go to, if they're playing adult music, that record is coming on.
You're right.
So
And
it's number 1.
It's banging. Still banging.
What can you share with anyone who might be wanting to be a singer? Talk about demoing music. How do you get into that? How do you get into that circle real quick?
It was back in the day when I was young, it was a different time. I don't really, most people like doing their demos in their bedroom, you know. Right. So it's just about making yourself the best that you can be with whatever means that you have at your avail. Just making you the best you can be. And over time, people just kind of see that, you know? And the more you can do well, the more valuable you are to your art, to yourself, to your industry. So I just got involved with this corporation that is in the business of teaching Black girls how to code. Because we never even thought that could be like a job or a career that we could have. That was usually reserved for white males, and it was a white male-dominated field. But Black girls can code their own movies, their own videos, their own games, their own, you know, if they have that math and science together, they can be world leaders in that arena. So it's just about knowing your value and knowing how to increase your value for the market that you're trying to get into. And if you're a singer, sing everything. Just sing. Just sing everything. Volunteer to sing for people and get out there and practice your craft. You have to put in the time. You have to do due diligence. You can't just like I can't
It'll
go
work.
to a baseball field and hit a home run because
Without-
I've never
without
played
practicing.
baseball.
Exactly,
Hello,
exactly.
and just because I can look at you and say you play guitar well, I can see that you put your fingers here and your strings here, and just because I know you can do that doesn't mean I can play guitar. So it's all about putting the time in and making yourself learning your craft. That's really the most important thing.
Look, I've learned a lot tonight, and I'm sure everyone enjoyed the conversation tonight. So I am so humbly appreciative.
Thank
of
you so
coming
much,
by.
Mr. Lenny Green.
Please don't let this be the last time that you come by and say hello to us on the Quiet Storm.
You have to invite me again.
You're invited.
And
I'm
I
telling you,
shall
right,
come.
the invitation is already extended. We'll see if the door
All right. All right.
is knocking someone
All
on the
right.
door. Siedah Garrett.